and welcome to the AEW Dynamite Preview. I'm Michael Sidgwick, joined by fellow Dadley boy Michael Hamflett to preview everything that's in store for us on tonight's show. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure to subscribe, to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and YouTube for daily wrestling podcasts where we preview and review Raw, SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0, Dynamite, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have question and answer time. We have wrestler interviews on occasion, roundtable discussion, and we host a roundup of the week complete with a bloody good quiz of chaos on WhatCulture. Now, as you might have noticed by my particularly enthusiastic hello introduction, we were asked, or specifically I was asked on X, I think it was after Blood and Guts, can we, quote, happy up the previews from now on? You're in luck, because this C2, this Continental Classic, these fields, this lineup, those permutations is doing something for me, and I can't wait to give you my broad thoughts and drill into the matches that have thus far been advertised for tonight's Dynamite at time of recording. But this is a happy podcast with some sad news. Now, it's not...
It's good. That's good audio.
No, it's good audio. Good audio. It's great audio.
It's good audio.
Good audio. It's not that bad. Basically, I need to be absent tomorrow. Adam Wilborn is doing podcasting networky things. I mean, it sounds like a pretty I think he's chucking his muck somewhere.
Yeah, straight in a hotel bar.
No, he's legit. He's doing podcasting network stuff. Ergo, the Dynamite review will be delayed by a day. We are hoping, all going well, to get that in Deccan on Friday. But on to tonight, which we will review on Friday, all going well. It's AEW Dynamite live from the Pinnacle in Nashville, Tennessee. Or should that be the Pinnacock? That might be a little bit niche.
No, it's not, because the attendance is on the small side, isn't it?
No, I mean the very word pinner.
Oh, pinner. Okay.
I think it's more just of a Scottish / Newcastle thing.
Yeah, maybe.
I think I got it off Murray.
Pinner.
As in for a tiny cat.
Yeah, it's reasonably. Because they have Needle Dick.
The Needle Dick Center in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah, it's like that's almost like the Scottish variant on it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like a very fine, sharp object. A little pinner and
so little pin.
Dick.
But they don't even call them pins. They call them tags, thumbtacks.
Thumbtacks, good point. Yes,
we call them safety pins, not bloody safe. Why do they call them safety pins? Because they've got the big thing at the end.
Safety pins are the things that clip, aren't they? We call them drawing pins.
Oh, drawing
and
pins.
And they call them tacks.
Drawing pins.
And again, I don't know what that's for, because you ain't drawing nothing with them unless you're...
Drawing blood.
Drawing blood, and then maybe making art with the blood.
Either way, so it's the Pinnacle, which is a fancy, I guess, intimate venue. And according to WrestleTix, the last time I checked, there have been 1,231 of 1,361 tickets sold. So there's 130 remaining. Basically, what I'm driving at here is intimate venue. Intimate venues are back, or they never went away. This is in an intimate venue, but I've had a quick Google image. It looks glorious. Someone on Twitter whose account name or display name escapes me, but they took a picture, having been to a gig, I think, last night, saying, oh, this is what Dynamite is. I'm there 2 nights in a row, and it looks wonderful. So I'm expecting like this nice, ornate venue. Like, when you get a Dynamite and it just looks beautiful and you get to enjoy it for 2 hours because it's loud, packed. It ain't no major scale arena, but it looks pretty. There's lots of people there and they're making noise. Mm-hmm. So basically the vibe check, I think, for Dynamite has been passed. So that makes me happy. On to the next bullet point. Continental Classic Broad Thoughts. I'm in love with it. It is one of the best times of the year in AEW. The fields, which we'll run down, you'll be aware of them already, but we'll give you them another rundown of them, are absolutely fantastic for various reasons. Even before, I will say one thing bad. It wouldn't be an AEW podcast with me in it if that weren't the case. The rollout, again, has just been like a little match graphic, lower Chiron in the bottom left-hand of your screen as Full Gear unfolds. We're not going to talk about Fallout, A, because Wilborn's not here, B, I wasn't that big a fan of the pay-per-view, but the good thing is that pay-per-view is over and done with. A lot of things got tied up, resolved, or at the very least are reaching a new sort of, they're reaching ahead at this point. I love the Continental Classic before a single participant is announced because it is AEW's G1. G1's a goated. The Continental Classic ain't ever really going to reach the heights of that early to mid to, well, that 2010s G1 era, but it's lovely to get it in a more accessible, TV-sized package. I love the round robin format. I love doing the math calc and frig about, hang on, that wrestler suddenly needs a win, or, oh my God, who's going to catch up to that wrestler, or does that mean that wrestler from that league is going to have the final with whatever? I love it. It is sort of a concentrated dose of what I was promised with AEW all along. It's a concentrated dose of rankings action to the point where I don't know when probably when the rankings went away, dickhead, genius. But I don't know when that feeling went away of the key promotional advantage that I think AEW had for a couple of years there over, the head-to-head war with NXT, certainly the main roster. Is that I would watch a match on Dynamite and say it's in that lull between Full Gear 2019 and sorry about that. I'm just going to take the book because this committee ain't working. Yeah. You would get something like, I don't know, for whatever reason, a match where I'm like, I'm still fighting for this AEW. I'm still fighting for this title. Luchasaurus versus Sammy Guevara was on, and that was really fun. It was like pretty cool building. I think there was some really bad Dark Order Nightmare Collective stuff on that show that people buried, and I didn't really want to, admit was as sucky as it was. But hey, got Luchasaurus, dinosaurs working the flippy guy. It's still good. Still really good. But every one of those matches, literally every Dynamite match through the framework of the rankings, I remember thinking, well, it's not the best. Or it's not like when Excalibur says, next week on Dynamite. I was like, that didn't look very good. However, it counts. Mm-hmm. Sammy Guevara is clearly a prospect. What if he's getting a win here with a view to, I don't know, Jon Moxley taking that title off Jericho, and that could be a TV-sized feud to continue the stuff with the Inner Circle. Or just as an example, every match used to count, and every result I used to think, that wrestler's going to lose, but the wrestler who's going to win, that means there's a plan for them. What I'm getting at here is that there are matches in this C2 that even the worst permutation of them, I'm thinking, yeah, but it counts. There are points to be won, stakes, purpose. But this year's different, as they've built very well, I think, well to very well, depending. The stuff between the Don Callis family and the Death Riders is all going to come to a head within the parameters of this tournament. So I'm already invested enough in wonderful, brilliant, genius, hilarious dickhead Kazuchika Okada. I'm in love with this character and this iteration because he's not just, playing the famous take on Okada. I'll let Hamflett talk at some point. I'm just very excited for once. That famous take on Okada, can't remember who tweeted it, but, he was a mid-card goofball cursed to be a genius main eventer where he could kind of do it all. Like, he's been playing that character in AEW with, I'm going to press the wrong button. Bitch in that wonderful deadpan face. And I really liked it. I can understand why people didn't. I think we found a perfect best of both worlds scenario here because he's still incredibly entertaining. His face was the highlight of last week's 3-hour loads of matches Dynamite when he was like, fuck, I've got a team with that dickhead Takeshita on the buy-in or whatever it's called, the tailgate. Gosh. Like work dread.
Yeah.
That's relatable stuff.
Yeah.
And now he's got that attitude, that personality, but now it is sort of being harnessed through the idea of Okada being this really competitive champion who takes it seriously and really hates the idea of Takeshita basically, overtaking him, overshadowing him. So I love that. I mean, that might be a little bit too telegraphed as the final, but ever since they started interacting and Okada was really sort of showing himself up, I've wanted to see that match for months. So I'm really happy with that. The Kyle Fletcher dynamic, did not see that coming. How does that interplay work between the three of them? The John Moxley, how many matches does he actually lose conversation? Like every single one of his results is like, as far as it actually goes these days in AEW, is must-see television. And what I like about the respective fields, which I will run through very quickly, is that, yes, it's AEW. You are going to get kind of bangers for the sake of it, right? You know the drill by now. There are first-time fresh bangers that they are grabby. They are, we want you to think the match is good matches, which ordinarily I'm a little bit fatigued by, a little bit tired of generally. However, there's some fresh, incredible prospect stuff in terms of, that match will be great, that we've not seen before, and there's points to play for. In fact, Hamflett, give me your broad thoughts on all of this. I need to type in my password to bring up the graphic.
Well, how about do you want me to read one of the leagues out, and then you can offer some continued thoughts?
You can just do what I said.
I like, to be honest, I want to harness your enthusiasm for as long as possible. Like,
you're going to be grumpy.
No, I've got lots of nice things to say too. Lots of nice things
God
to say
for
too.
that.
Like, I like your enthusiasm more than mine when it comes to AEW. Like, I think it is potentially predictable, but that's a good thing. Going into this tournament with a predictable outcome of the Okada Takeshita outcome for the two leagues means that AEW are booking something very well. They're doing a correct job of promotion for a change because they've encouraged so many people.
I'm more hyped on this on the basis of what it's going to be.
Yeah. They've encouraged people for a while now to fantasy book the payoff to this feud happening as a result of this tournament. Takeshita won the G1, has been able to say he's the new greatest tournament wrestler against the one guy who can actually make that argument for himself. And now AEW have a tournament in which they can prove it once and
for all. It's awesome.
It's brilliant.
It's brilliant.
Brilliant. The predictable element of that IMO is brilliant because it should be predictable. But that counts for the unpredictable side of it. Because if now they swerve you, bro, it'll be shocking rather than, what? Like, it won't be, to sort of maybe come on to something we'll talk about when I mention a few bits from Full Gear. It won't be that, It'll be, I didn't see this coming. Yeah. We all saw the stereo rise.
I won't be saying, what?
Yeah. Because we all have seen the stereo rise of Okada and Takeshita, and we're more than happy with that. If somebody upsets that apple cart, great. Yeah. Because that's this unpredictable thing, and the story we're enjoying is the one that can keep going on. In contrast to that, this is not even a butter, however, because I too am excited to watch John Moxley basically become the hairy Man United fan of AEW at this point. He needs his 5 wins in a row. Like, this has to be, capital H, capital A, capital S, has to be the conclusion of the John Moxley Death Rider storyline.
Did you see the Death Riders backing up John Moxley's post-show promo when he's doing the Ross Geller "I'm fine"?
Well, not even that. No, I saw when they came out to greet him after the Kyle O'Reilly match, and all of their faces, I couldn't stop looking at them. They were presenting doubt. Garcia, like, Moxley starts storming off to the back, and Garcia's like, "Do I leave?" And Claudio was like, "Come on." And it's when Claudio said that, Garcia's actually been like, "Right, I'm going." Like, Shafir stood outside the ring with him before Moxley ran back in to do the post match, and she was like, "What do you want?" Like, Pac was the last one there, this is the second time they've done this now. You know, Shafir with the broken glass and with a foot, and then Moxley taps in it like that. Yeah. And then Pac got out of Darby Allin's sharpshooter with a bat, didn't he? And Moxley couldn't do that at last pay-per-view. There's been 2 like-for-like times.
I love that.
The Death Riders are
John Moxley's pretty incredible right now.
This is the best stuff.
That's artful AEW stuff.
That's the stuff I want to see. This is it's predictable for all the right reasons. Actually, give us it.
They're going to give you
deliver this payoff through this tournament now.
So the promo that you might not have seen from Full Gear or like filmed in the aftermath of Full Gear, John Moxley is presenting this facade of, well, I'm still John Moxley. And he's like, because in his head, because he's violently attacked Kyle O'Reilly with backup, that doesn't prove nothing. You got beaten, you tapped like a bitch. He's done the chair on the arm and stuff. He's like, who's in the hospital? Who's gone to the hospital? It's not me. I'm standing right here. He's in the hospital, actually. Darby Allin's already been in the hospital. You don't say me in the hospital. I'm fine. And then Stephanie goes, I'm fine. I'm not in the hospital. He starts doing press-ups on the ground. It's got just enough of that, like, unbelievable John Moxley comedy. He's like, I'm fine, bitch. And he starts doing press-ups. He goes, the thing is, though, it's like, this is a regular season. I'm still in the playoffs. And I'm going to win the playoffs, in fact. And that's him basically saying, didn't count this. I'll win the Continental Classic. So still good.
He ran a campaign of terror over All Elite Wrestling, and now he's real quizzing the entire thing.
Yeah. It's great. So he's like, I'm fine. Brilliant. Start doing push-ups because it's just regular season. It's time for the playoffs, and it counts from now. This is the real quiz. And in the background, it's a little bit like if John Moxley watches this tape, he's probably getting like the next bus home.
Yeah,
because like Pac's like, what's he doing? Who are you talking to? So like Pac's got his arms folded, just like, what? And like Claudio's like, son of a bitch, I got kill you.
He's saddest that it's over because he knows it's over. He knew it was over first, didn't he? And
it's over.
His face
still
is
likely. Like, it's good because you get a sense of like where the characters are at. Like Garcia's still just this. What have I walked into here? I only joined it like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Pac's like steaming. Like his steam's coming out of his ears. Claudio's like kind of ruminating. Like, yeah, he's basically when in his head. Pac's like, I'll do it right now.
Yeah,
I'll do it right now. He's seething.
The best bits of these stable ones is when you're looking at, you have to watch the segment multiple times to see the individual faces. There's not like it.
And Claudio's like, I think he's just like in his head because he's looking a bit cerebral, a bit stoic, like he doesn't give anything away. And he's like, I think he's thinking in that moment, like it's obviously has to happen. Guy's a loser and he's lost his mind. But when, and Shafia looks a little bit like,
she's heartbroken by it, isn't she?
She's like a little bit like, oh God, I wish this wasn't happening, but it kind of is, and he probably deserves it, you know. So how many, like, people have been saying, should he go 0-5? I don't think so. I made the point on the Full Gear review, if you'll just indulge me. I'm going to repeat myself, and I'll get to the brackets, certain matches that we're each looking forward to, and then we'll get to the matches that we're actually getting tonight on Dynamite. But indulge me this one thing, to repeat myself. I was talking on the Full Gear review, and I says...
He turned around to me and he says...
Yeah, I turned around to Hamflett now and says... I think wrestling's weird, right? In that, I think AEW's got a great handle on this, and in fact, if anything, they might push it too far in the other direction. But the wrestling thing is... Dickhead, heel is a dickhead. Throughout, in his fictional character, he's a dickhead, evil, arsehole, coward, bitch, whatever. Eventually becomes so over and or entertaining that they just, he's a babyface now. Because you want to make money and put them in new storylines and new dynamics. I think AEW is a lot better at going, right, they can adjust their personality slowly. I think wrestling generally is better at this, even though both the two companies that exist take it a little bit too far. And I think it's a better way of doing it. I think with Moxley, I think he should probably show a little bit of fight, because I want him to. I want to like him as a babyface, not just because Claudio Castagnoli kicked his head in. You know what I mean? I want him to show a little bit more fight.
I feel very strongly about that. When a heel gets turned on by the other heels, the starting position is loser.
Yeah, I know.
Like the Randy Orton Evolution model.
Yeah,
killed his first run.
Yeah,
like they come across like such a geek.
Yeah.
The other baddies thought you were a loser baddie. Why would I?
Yeah,
why would I get on your hype train if even they don't like you anymore?
One of the worst years in WWE history for me. I'm not overstating things. There's been loads, guys. I know. Sorry, Hamflett.
There was 20 of them.
Jesus. 2015 Seth Rollins, where the entire time he is champion or the top guy in the Authority, Triple H and Stephanie are like, God, what a loser stepson that we've adopted. Get better, doofus. We think you're the face of the company. You shouldn't need our help, even though we're a heel faction. What we're doing here. Here's Kane to keep you in check. It's like the losers thought he was a loser. Seth Rollins, at some point, is like, I don't need your help. Kane, don't need Kane's help. It's like, evidently you do. Because you need Jon Stewart's help and not just Kane's.
That's correct.
What are we doing? And then eventually, what happens if he doesn't get the knee injury? Do you know where does that story go? Does they just turn on him? And it's like, oh, well, they're more heels, so he's a babyface. Let's go. Hate it. I don't expect AEW to do this. We're using extreme examples. But I want Moxley not to do this. It's entertaining, and it's actually, because it's so well done, he is getting away with jobbing, and it's really quite incredible. Again, I used the example on the review of like Jericho. Jericho loses this many matches, and it's like, oh, it's only Chris Jericho. For now, I'm still thinking, look, Jon Moxley.
Yeah.
Of all people, Jon Moxley is losing this often. It still feels like this wild shock when you kind of know where it's going and it shouldn't. I think he can't go 0-5 because he's going to have to be the de facto face in this Death Riders fallout and do the gauntlets and all the rest of it. Hopefully it's a bit more imaginative than that, but, that's probably where it's going. I don't know how he got beat 5 times.
Oh, God, I've just realised he's got to atone with a bunch of old rivals. That's my favourite thing.
That's your favourite thing?
Respect through war. At some point, he's probably going to have to make some sort of alliance with Darby Allin.
Yeah.
Sorry, I drowned you in a fish tank.
And/or Hangman Page.
Oh, my God. Mutual respect stuff.
It's a shame that it's all calendar specific, because what if this all just happened in a really cool, quite quick, it's happening and it's awesome way. And then they just did Anarchy in the Arena at Revolution this time. And it's the former the Death Riders.
The Death Riders just want to 5-on-1 him, and he's like, you're not going to find 4 mates. And then 4 just good eggs.
Yeah.
Give him a hand.
It's like Mox, Swerve, Hangman, Darby, and Orange.
Yeah.
Versus the Death Riders plus 1 more.
Aye. That'd be nice.
There's stuff here to do. Yeah. Like the next year's potentially set up with all this. But I think Mox should narrowly lose. And it's like, it's actually, he wasn't a bitch there. It just got done. And then narrowly lose. He's 0 for 2. But he's not, but he's trying to do it the right way, actually. Maybe he's recognizing he's made some mistakes and he's taken everything way too far. Then he wins. Then he beats Claudio. Maybe. There's loads of routes that can take here. Yeah. It's very, very exciting. Beats Claudio, and Claudio's like, I already made my mind up. And like they're all looking at each other as if to say, what, is this guy good? And then they're starting to think, I actually quite like the idea of not being under this dude's thumb for once. No, we're still going to proceed with this plan. So it's like, Moxley's lost and he's not in great form. There's a comeback there, and he's like, people are reminded, Jon Moxley's awesome. And then they do it. And then he's a babyface, and he's got the sympathy. But he still did a couple of jobs along the way. There's just so much that can do here, and I'm really excited. Let's go league by league, predict winners in the best matches. Gold League, Darby Allin, Kazuchika Okada. I mean, right then and there, I'm jacking it. I'm desperate to see that match.
Yeah.
Darby Allin, Kazuchika Okada, Kevin Knight, Kyle Fletcher, Pac, Speedball Mike Bailey. That is absolutely awesome. And what I was getting at as well, so you've got all this Callis family stuff, this Death Riders stuff, and then you've got some banger excuses. But because, and just having stakes and purpose, really in wrestling, that is the antidote to everything. But that is definitely banger fatigue, like salve, lotion.
Yep.
Because there's a reason for these things to happen. So I love how the parameters of a tournament, particularly this round robin, gives you an excuse to do the banger, right? And like Speedball Mike Bailey versus Darby Allin, I'd love the idea of that match. I absolutely love the idea of that match. Okada versus Speedball is a return match of one of my favorite AEW pay-per-view matches of the year. Okada and Pac had a wonderful, wonderful match at Dynasty last year. Where Pac, I know he was like a babyface with Death Triangle off and on at various points, but like his disposition didn't really reflect it. And those matches are too exciting to really care about who's evil and who's bad or whatever and good. That was Pac's. Oh Christ, what an awesome babyface he is. His selling against Okada in that match was absolutely out of this world. Different now. Pac's a very different character, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. AEW gets drawn into the trap of like traditional US psychology and wrestling where, especially for like, and it kind of like collides with this, and it's probably just this long dead idea of a sports oriented promotion it's always the baby faces and the heels. Why is that? Because the matches rarely make sense if it isn't in the parameters of how US matches are done. And I know, AEW does a lot of imported strong style, whatever, but you're getting like pure outright heel versus heel matches here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm interested to see how they're going to go, even if they don't necessarily work as well as Pac being babyface against Okada last year on pay-per-view. I still like the idea of them doing it. It still makes it feel more sporting of like, of course this would be a fixture. You know, heels in different sports play each other constantly, you know? I mean, I just watched Sunderland versus Chelsea the other week.
Yeah.
You know, things like that.
Yeah, where the heels appear. I agree, though. I like more wrestling for points, heel matches.
Castle of the heels.
Yeah. I like competitive cheating.
Sunderland, you know, well, it used to be the heels.
Yeah. Had a real heel run there.
Fascists and nonces.
Yeah, real bad. Real bad.
Fascists and nonces.
Took a long time to turn that wheel.
So, Gold League.
Real
What
decline.
matches are you most looking forward to?
I'm the low guy on Pac, if I'm honest. So the Pac combinations are going to surprise me on the night more than they're going to make me anticipate them.
Yeah.
But
What's wrong with Pac these days for you? Bitch.
I think it's a.
I thought Pac Derby was great, by the way, at Full Gear.
I haven't seen it in full,
I thought it was great.
so I can't comment on all of it. I like the finish. I did enjoy like the last sort of 2 or 3 minutes.
I did not like Pac Orange on that Dynamite.
No. Yeah, his comeback hasn't actually done it for me, really.
I feel like Pac can sometimes slow it down, kid, too much.
I think in all wrestling sometimes, I think too big picture, and I long stopped investing in Pac because of the...
He ain't headlining a pay-per-view, is he?
Yeah, and the weird sort of schizophrenia of his working schedule. Like, and I've never really known what the deal is there.
Yeah.
And he's entitled to keep that private, but then sometimes he just goes away. And as a result, he's not one of them ones that I ever properly...
Could I we trivialize everything on this?
I don't mean to. Sometimes he's just not around for a while. Sometimes it's injury, sometimes it's travel,
He's
sometimes
be around
it's
for 5 matches at least. Yeah.
admin. Yeah, he's going to be around for all of this. But I'm kind of glad he's separate from the Mox Claudio bracket in the Blue League, which we'll get to. What am I into in this one? I'm not into this one as much as the blue one, to be honest. But
I like this one more than the blue one.
Speedball Okada's rematches was the one that jumped out at me.
Yeah.
Speedball Derby is a really interesting babyface match because I like Derby. I'll say that for the
They want to do that Darby Ospreay match again with a different guy.
Yep.
That match was absolutely... Darby Allin versus Will Ospreay from last year's C2 was out of this freaking world.
Darby Allin, the wrestler, is always really fun. Like the wrestler.
It really brings into focus how awesome Darby Allin is when I look at a thing like this and I'm thinking, that'd be brilliant. We haven't even talked about Darby versus Kyle Fletcher yet.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And Fletcher, Fletcher and Darby haven't ever wrestled, have they? That I can remember.
Not that I can recall. Not in a singles.
No. So again, like as in terms of a first time match, there is a Continental Classic benefit, I suppose. That is absolutely a cast iron.
Absolutely.
A cast ironed copper bottomed AEW pay-per-view match.
Yeah.
First time singles match.
Yeah, and
names
getting
on
it
the
for
board.
free.
And you're getting it as a tournament thing. I love that about tournament matches because you can it's a free hit. You can still book that as a storyline driven singles match. But right here, it's just points. It's just points on the board. I like that. So yeah, Darby Allin and Kyle Fletcher is probably the biggest one there for me, and the Okada Speedball rematch. I think Speedball, you can expect Speedball and Kevin Knight to eat a lot of pins here. But I would book Speedball and Okada late in the day and have Speedball get his win back.
And then he can set the third.
Yeah, and that's the first knock on Okada's otherwise unblemished.
Yeah.
What looks like a sort of an easy cruise to the top of the Gold League. That's where he takes his defeat.
So there's at least 5 matches here that I'm legitimately cannot wait to see. Darby, Okada, it's going to be unbelievable. I mean, basically everything Darby does in this match in this thing's going to be absolutely unbelievable. Okada Bailey, one of my favorite AEW matches of the year. We're running that back. On the basis of their unbelievable exchange, match within a match, whatever, in the Casino Gauntlet, Kevin Knight versus Bailey is going to be absolutely incredible. Fletcher Darby Allin is like kind of scary because Fletcher's brilliant, even when he's in perfect control over his performance, which, let's face it, is what, like 99 times out of 100. He looks like he is destroying people in there. He's such this rippled, muscled, terrifying, intense, dynamic, like a powerhouse hybrid monster of a guy. Like that Briscoe match at Dynasty was pretty scary, I thought. that guy with that propulsion, power, speed, precision, that Darby Allin taking his brain buster is going to kill me. I cannot wait for that. And I don't think there's a bad match in the bunch here, like, at all. I cannot wait for it. I think it's a Carter and Darby and Fletcher for me, because Darby is so good at mapping a babyface comeback, and Kazuchika Okada, is genius over the past 13 years at this point, is sort of allowing people to map that at his expense and like breaking their hearts with that always perfectly timed dropkick and all the rest of it. So for me, I would say by some distance, the Gold League is the one, but Mr. Stories probably enjoys the Blue League. So let's go through that now before we go match by match by match and then call it a day. The Blue League, from Switzerland, it's Claudio Castagnoli.
Speaks several languages, but all of them are full of hatred. Because he's kicking ass.
Because he's kicking ass. You got from fighting out of Cincinnati, Ohio, it's John Moxley.
Cincinnati.
You've got Konosuke Takeshita. From CMLL, it's Mascara Dorada.
A lot of pins that boy's going to eat.
He is. Very exciting in the skies, though. You've got Orange Cassidy, and rounding out the field is, Mr. Eating Pins, too, Roderick Strong. Now, here's why I'm going to be slightly lower on gold than gold in blue. Don't hurt me. Sacrilege corner. Roddy Strong in singles matches. Overrated. Like, profoundly overrated. Not always, but every time this dude's name or face greets me on a match graphic, and I've had this rant before, and I've been in much better, spirits today than previous weeks. I see some of the worst accounts on Twitter go, hell yeah, we're eating. We're eating good tonight. Oh yeah, good. Dynamite, just the real stuff's happening, and it's never that good. Roderick Strong in tags, trios, blood and guts and stuff. Incredible. He's like the Cesaro hot tag of a professional wrestler in 2025.
You've given me the perfect hot tag for something I want to talk to you about, Sidge. Can you give me a certain other corner with a little jingle that you like to attach to it?
Conspiracy corner.
But a nice one, a storyline one, right? Are you able to look at the entirety of the Blue League on your monitor right now?
Yes, I'm doing it.
Right. Can you see the individual profile cards of all the competitors? The pictures, the little Blue League graphic, the whole deal.
That.
Perfect. Right? I was looking at these yesterday, and this thought hit me. And you've already hit upon two parts of this thought, which have empowered my thought even more, right? When he talks about Roderick Strong...
What happened to our brains?
I don't know. I never know, man. Like, when he talks about Roderick Strong as a pin eater, I agree. You had previously mentioned that John Moxley kind of has to win a few. Yeah, I think the match is going to be boring. I don't care. Like, John Moxley will win a few, again, to counteract this idea that he's completely and utterly finished. But as you say, the Death Riders have already built the picture in their head of a life without him. So at this point, it's almost like, he's winning. Now when we turn, that makes us the bastards. Hang on. But that's how it needs to play out, right? So as Moxley starts rebuilding again, Roddy Strong is eating some pins in this group. And we're all just thinking, yeah, fine. Like, he's there in the league to be a pin eater. Great. Look at the two pictures. And this is my conspiracy corner bit. Look at how identical the bodies and poses of Claudio and Roddy are, to the point where you could believe one head is photoshopped on another, down to the chest hair and the EastEnders River Thames of chest hair down their chests.
They're both dudes in incredible shape.
They are, right? I think that
Roddy's going to join them.
Part of a clue, and we're seeing it here, right? There's the first clue. What's going to happen is, over the course of this Blue League, Moxley's going to stack up a few wins. Everything's fine. Roddy's going to be getting beat. We're like, there he is, Mr. Pin Eater. We're eating good, allegedly, but he's eating pins. Like, their rationale's gone out the window, hasn't it? Roddy has never really liked being in the conglomeration. And the jealousy of the fact that Kyle was the one that was getting it done against Moxley is going to...
Are they doing death dovetailing booking in AEW?
And his wife's already in the group, and she's disappointed with this John Moxley, and he's going to be like, it was me all along, your husband. Like, I'm the guy that you should have been with, not this idiot. Like, he's no leader anymore. Roddy in, Moxley out, and it's going to come through the form of Moxley actually winning a few matches, bless him, and Roddy losing. I mean, like, I need these as much as they need me. That's Gew. That's like some grand payoff at the end of all this.
The sickos.
Oh God! Oh my God! They are going to be jacking non-stop.
Honestly,
like our friend from the Gooners.
There's going to be. I'm just gonna, like my life and filter is just going to be like opaque, translucent, whitish liquid. That's how much cum I'm going to get out of them.
Oh, it's going to become City Jones every week. Like, they're going to be looking for a Continental Tag Classic.
The Death Rodders.
Yeah, if you want.
Because Rodders.
Death Rodders, I like it.
Yeah.
The Claudio and Roddy Strong tag matches, they're going to...
When you put them two together, it's just going to be... I mean, that's awesome. They should have been in a tag team all along.
Well, it's happening. I think that's what he's in there. He's the pin eater, but I think there's a
power coming back.
Honestly, that was one of the things that stuck out when I was actually paying attention to these wrestlers and trying to decide what was going to happen to them.
Yeah. So for me, right, the Blue League,
and this one's more predictable. Takeshita does win this. I think Fletcher can make a run at Okada, but I think Takeshita wins this.
Yeah, and we'll get on that imminently. So there's one more broad thought on the Blue League. I'm a little bit for a couple of reasons. One, Roddy Strong in singles matches. Honestly, some of them are great. Some, like, the vast majority are merely good, but people go on about them. It's not necessarily his fault. It's a me problem, really.
Sounds like AEW World Champion criteria to me.
It's like, honestly, we'll get to that. It's as if people, when you're younger and you want to be seen to be hip, so you get you get into certain bands, or you pretend to understand certain films, because you want to be seen to be like hip.
Yep.
There's that sect of ball knowers on X/Twitter. I'm fairly certain there are people who think Roddy Strong is amazing because they aspire to be like wrestling cool. Because like the evidence in front of me this year, and I'm talking 2025 only, singles matches only. Like, isn't the whole point to make people make noise? He just hits people hard in okay matches that are pretty good that no one cares about. So Roddy, I think, needs a good tournament. Genuinely, I think he really needs one, because those people who claim to love him aren't in the buildings. So if he is going to fulfill Hamflett's fantasy booking, which I think is great, by the way, even if he loses, he has to kind of be awesome. Yeah. Not just have these kind of drab, hard-hitting, heatless matches. At this point, what an unbelievable run. 6 years almost of like just great little, like, unbelievable fictional character runs that double as jokes of like the oxymoron. I've said this before, but the oxymoron of Orange Cassidy fighting workhorse champion. That doesn't happen because he's the lazy slacker guy. That was incredible. This is the least I've felt about Orange Cassidy. I'm not saying he's not clever enough to do certain things, but the return hasn't really been great. And I think the die was cast for Orange Cassidy in my mind in the build to last year's Full Gear, when he kind of crapped the mattress with that go home promo stuff. I just don't think he had it in him, and I think he's done incredibly well to play this specific character for this long. And on that basis, I feel like such a dickhead for critiquing a guy or being bored by a guy who you could argue is the heart and soul of this promotion.
I was angry at the booking more than I was passionate behind the character this last run.
Yeah.
But to your point, 6 years, if you discount the fact that he started life as a heel and needed that transitional reign for this dude in Texas, the Undertaker comparison still holds, because it took him 7 to become the proper world champion figure. That was his gimmick was so gimmicky. He never got his hands on the belt, did he?
Yeah.
So it was his 7th year where he did it. Like,
it wouldn't surprise me.
They could still.
I'd never rule it out. Yeah. It wouldn't shock me one bit if I got invested in this dude enough to watch him do that. But I'm just a little bit down on Cassidy in recent months. Dorada, if you get the version of Dorada we saw, what was it, Wrestle Dream or All Out in that 3-way?
Wrestle Dream.
Yeah. if it was which the Dorada, Okada, Takeshita, the guy who I get told in CMLL is outstanding and all the rest of it. If we get that Dorada 5 times, perfect. I think there's not much other pure, there's no other pure lucha representation. I like how it showcases the range of styles that AEW embraces in their undiluted way. From what I've seen, and look, it's very limited in terms of a sample because I don't really watch CMLL for my sins that much. The Dorada I've seen in AEW and whatever, a bit like that match against Okada was a bit of a nightmare on Collision, to be honest. They were on completely different pages. He can do overambitious spots that go awry. So Dorada, I never like watching a wrestler who you know is prone to that kind of thing. And it happens. It's not like, I don't blame them or think less of them for botching, but at the same time, it does take me out of a match. And I don't like watching a wrestler kind of thinking, oh, God, is this going to come off? You want the security, really. So I don't think I'm getting that with Dorada. Might be sacrilege, right, to regular CMLL watchers. Maybe this dude is absolutely on point 99.9% of the time. Maybe this match against Okada was a little bit too fresh in the memory for me to preview it when I have such a small sample, but I have a little bit of potentially totally misinformed misgivings about Dorada. I mean, Takeshita is absolutely awesome. His first, oh my God, this guy's incredible match was against Jon Moxley, so I'm looking forward to them running that back. There were 3 good things about Battle of the Belts. One of them was Dustin doing a Canadian Destroyer to Sammy Guevara. Maybe there was just 2. Maybe there's one I'm missing. I'm sure, actually, Orange Cassidy had a match with Kip Sabian. Or Darby had a match. So Kip Sabian had a match on Battle of the Belts once, and it was unbelievable. Like, unbelievable. And Claudio Castagnoli and Takeshita had a great match there once. So they'll run that back. In terms of the matches I'm most looking forward to here, I mean, Claudio Mox, that's going to be incredible. What an unbelievable... I reckon time's going to be so kind of this Death Riders thing. Because the Shafir thing, all in Texas, like this Kyle O'Reilly stuff. Is this the most I've looked forward to a Claudio Castagnoli singles match in AEW by some distance? It might not be the best. He had a match in the inaugural C2 against Danielson that was out of this world brilliant. If this beats that, I will be delighted. But this is the match genuinely I'm most looking forward to. I think Jon Moxley's played a blinder with his Death Rider stuff at this point. I really, truly do. I can't wait for that. Mox and Cassidy's always good. Maybe that could be the match where Cassidy, maybe hard fought battle, maybe even a draw, and Cassidy's like the old Jon Moxley.
Yeah.
He was never not a violent thug, but he did it for the right reasons. Maybe he's still in there, and then they could do a bit of a slow burn babyface deal within that match. There's loads going on in this Blue League, even if I don't think the matches are going to be as good for my tastes. I cannot wait for this thing to unfold.
Even if they're not quite as elegant with this attempt to kind of make Jon Moxley a crafty babyface again, and he goes on a bit of a losing streak. We were talking about this over the desks. I could still visualize a way in which he kind of beats Claudio by pulling the tights.
Yeah.
And Claudio has to sort of like almost roll his eyes at how he's lost, and Moxley just doing the whatever it is. Like I can't see a way in which that match fails.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't want to have to eat those words in a few weeks, but it feels to me like that one in particular, that like all Death Riders clash can't fail if it's an early league match, because we haven't seen the rest of the fixtures, have we, outside of this week?
I don't think I have.
So you can't speculate necessarily on the booking and the permutations,
which is good and bad.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag, that, isn't it? Yeah, because it is quite nice sometimes.
I do want someone to work it out for me.
I think that's it. That what happens is it's almost like we'd criticize it maybe for him Tony Khan in it if you saw the whole layout. Because you'd be mapping. All of us would. It's part of the fun.
Oh, that's how Takeshita
That's
gets
how that happens to that. Yeah.
yeah.
Whereas this,
I prefer it this way. I think
leaves the air of mystery as to like just how important will this Claudio Mox match be to the two men whenever it happens, and what at that point will we know about the two characters? So it's fun now to speculate because it really is the blankest canvas at this moment.
I think Peak Ghetto got away with it because he was such a magician in the 2010s. I don't know if Tony Khan could do it in that thrilling and unexpected a way, but we shall see.
He had the pairings as well. He would put like one massive one on as the last weekend of matches. And it was like, so even if the middle section you couldn't work it out, you're like, well, the opener and the closer are blockbuster, bookending matches. I like remember when the 2017 one dropped. We saw Omega Okada in the group.
Oh, no.
And it was going to be the last one of the group matches.
I remember.
Wherever it fit, and it was mind-blowing.
Old office, old colleagues. New Japan was kind of like the thing that we all agreed on being great. I mean, not a big, sort of hidden thing, but a lot of people in that office at the time were banging into the New Japan. And we all were like, you idiots. What do you not know what you have with this Okada Omega stuff? Why are you doing it? Like, preserve the magic, and then we know how brilliantly it went. Should we quickly run through what's advertised for the show? Continental Classic action from Nashville, Tennessee. Kyle Fletcher versus Kazuchika Okada is honestly such a cool thing to do. A big name match to set the tone. Done my research and pulled from my memory. They have a 1-1 singles record. They've had one previous C2 match, which Fletcher won, but Okada had previously beaten Fletcher on Dynamite. Bit of a bad news, good news. The fact that this match exists is fantastic. This version of Okada is the best we've seen yet in AEW. Kyle Fletcher has had the year he's had after last year's C2, mostly completely brilliant. And away from Ospreay, which was important because anyone looks brilliant against Ospreay. Fletcher, after dealing with that sort of rivalry, has gone on an unbelievable amount of individual performances to prove that it's real. I thought the first two matches were very good, not great. Like I'd never put them in my top 50 or top 100 Dynamite matches, but as they played out, I thought, these are really, 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 really well wrestled. I'm expecting more. As I said, Okada's at his best in AEW. Fletcher's just Fletcher at this point. He's pretty much made. They like the historical data in AEW. On the subject of data, no women's match announced at time of recording. Who cares? What we're doing in AEW, come on, you're getting goodwill from me. At least get like a big time. Get one of the semi-finals.
I was going to say at least one semi-final tonight.
I don't think so. Nothing.
What?
Nothing on the Twitter from what I've seen. Who do you go for? What story do they tell? Okada is really gotten to by Takeshita.
Yeah.
To the point where he's like, I like Fletcher. That potentially, it could be very well handled tonight. I'm thinking, because I'm seeing it through the lens of the character. If Okada is threatened by Takeshita but wants to team with Fletcher and likes him, I'm thinking, Takeshita's a better wrestler than Fletcher. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Fletcher beats him now. I like that because or if he takes him really close, I don't know. But the idea is there's a hierarchy and it's Okada, Takeshita, Fletcher, and it's an unbelievable hierarchy, but that's not necessary. That's a bit of the debris, I guess, from that kind of story where Fletcher inadvertently looks weaker because of how threatened Okada is by Takeshita. Does that play into this at all?
I think I think Okada beats Fletcher and then proceeds to not lose at all until he does. But in the meantime, Fletcher has gone and won every one of his.
Yeah.
So by the time Okada loses, they're back on completely level pegging, and it takes us to like the final week of fixtures or however they're going to, sort of decide it or anything like that. Semi-finals?
Semi-finals. Possibly.
I think Okada starts it off with a win and immediately establishes his tournament wrestler dominance. It's like Man City win on the first day of the season and everybody kind of goes, no.
When they beat Wolves 4-0.
Yeah, and there's an immediate sense of, right, is everybody just stuck?
Yeah.
And things can change and obviously have, but like, that's
Liverpool are finished.
Let's we'll see how it's going. But
right.
And I think what's great about this, I think to your point, Okada can spin it as, this kid, he's all right, bit wanky, bit hair ruffly sort of thing, but look at what they're coming out of. Okada didn't wrestle the entire match. He got there late in his car and did his gorgeous entrance and did a little bit. He beat up his own teammate and won. And he was like, see you later, guys.
That for me was too far, but it was too entertaining.
Fletcher's gone through like the war of his life. He's coming into this tournament hurt. And like Okada beats that Fletcher and knackered Fletcher. The loss to Mark Briscoe in the book in terms of the loss upwards, but in kayfabe, he's a guy that's like just really suffering that loss and physically broken. He walked through the shot of the Don Callis family, and while these two posturing champions, human pillars, like Carl Fletcher's bloodied and beaten. He's like, I went to the tournament, you jerks. Like, what about the proto years? You know, all that kind of stuff. He's knackered, he's beaten up, he's a bit emotional. He loses this one, and that's when he gets his head together. Yeah. And then he goes on this winning run after it, and he's the guy that pushes Okada right to the limit by the end of the group. And I think that's how this one plays out, whether or not he's got, you know, you only need to bandage a rib or have him hold it back from that match against Briscoe, don't you?
Oh,
that's what Okada targets when he realizes he's in more trouble than he thought. And I think that's how they play this one.
I know. I don't know if that chemistry is ever going. There's certain wrestlers who you think, oh, well, one of them's amazing. The other one's amazing too. It's always going to be amazing. I don't know if they necessarily have that, but this could be, oh, that's really good. Not quite what I'm expecting, but the C2 is still going to be goated. That is the floor. The ceiling is TV match of the year. So even if it's the floor, I'm probably going to have a really good time with it. And now this sort of gold league. This is why we're taking the piss over here in Gold League. Because one of the matches where I'm like, if I'm ranking it in order of most to least excited, Darby Allin versus Kevin Knight's on the bottom end. But it's still going to be this spectacular sugar rush, action forward, exhilarating back and forth.
Yeah.
Darby's going to win.
Yes.
It's like, it's predictable, but this could just fizz across the screen. They could do stuff in this match that's going to blow your mind. It's like one of the least emotional responses I can imagine having towards one of these matches. And I don't even think it's the best pure wrestling bliss matches. It's still going to be awesome. Gold League.
It's Gold League. These matches, I don't know if you've listed these in the order they were announced for Dynamite or whatever.
Right, what I want.
But you've served it up as a sandwich because there is zero anticipation for this one for me. Like the next one we're about to talk about, there's quite a lot of drama around the result. The first one, you're talking about quality, you're talking about Don Callis family drama. It's got loads going for it. It's a proper week one fixture.
Yeah.
This would be like the Monday Night Football game, wouldn't it? If this, this middle one.
This is like where the best wrestle.
You want to get this out, you want to get this out of the way on week one because the last thing you'd want is this on like week 5 or 6. Which it's like it's heating up. Is it? Because Darby Allin's facing Kevin Knight and having nothing. Yeah. Like chuck this one away on night one, win for Darby.
This is the most where the best wrestle.
Or the major, like absolute jaw on the floor. Anything can happen in the tournament. Kevin Knight's just picked up the win. You can also do that on the first week.
Why not?
When it's all to play for.
That was the Ghetto's best trick in the 2010s. And rounding out for now, there might be another one added. Bloody hell, I'm going to start watching Collision, me.
Oh, they take place on Collisions, aren't they?
Yeah.
Might get me an off.
I'm not going to watch those 8-man tags.
No, yeah, go on.
You can pay me, and you do.
When's the C2 bit?
Jon Moxley versus Mascara at the Rod. And now, stylistically, this is kind of wild. I like Jon Moxley against a high flyer. He has weirdly great chemistry with AR Fox, who he's wrestled a couple of times now, I think. And I know they're very different wrestlers, but you kind of
shoot on him, John.
Yeah. You kind of get the gist. I like the idea of like Jon Moxley go, right, ready for a fight. That's what I'll do. I'm Jon Moxley. I'm still really great at fighting. What the hell's this guy doing to me? I don't know. I'm scared. Wait.
Sort of runs away. And
as
he runs around, doesn't he? Kind of.
This is the match. And here's the thing, Freakazoids. I'm turning heel now. I got a tweet response. I got 2 tweet responses that blew my dick off in rage in response to my should we call it a campaign against overlong pay-per-views, right?
What blows your dick off in joy right now? In contrast to what's blowing it off in rage.
Okada.
That's the thing.
Okada, coffee. Yeah.
MFTs from SmackDown that you covered?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. The C2 blows my dick off in joy. Here's the 2 responses. Right. And it leads into a point I'm about to make, I think. We don't need promos.
Crazy.
When I tried to illustrate the point, and I buried within there certain cryptic clue, I don't necessarily want WWE Town Hall promos. Oh, you listen to Deadlock and you're really hard. What's wrong with your brain? Where you pancakes, waffle, arsehole, you think that because I'm asking AEW to do live promos that I want like the Town Hall WWE style. I don't. And I made the point in they can't all be this good. They can be under 2 minutes, unbelievable, and held in front of an arena Little promo called Austin 316.
Have you heard of it?
It wasn't a town hall. It wasn't long for the sake of being long. It was the two most adrenaline-fueling moments in pro wrestling history for 2 minutes, and you can hear the crowd. Those first few, of like, oh, they've got something with this dude, because you can hear them like he's still received as a heel. He's not that over yet, but they're like a few laughs. Do that in front of a crowd, goddammit. They should set up a permanent Oakland position at Dynamite. Get these contrived, wholesome backstage ones out the way. That blew my tits off. The other one was no match on pay-per-view should be shorter than 15 minutes. What? The point I'm making about Jon Moxley and Mascara Dorada, and I'm caveating it this heavily, right, is that, oh, so you want Roman Reigns, do you? No. And I know the listeners, come viewers, aren't this idiotic. Jon Moxley versus Mascara Dorada, I don't care if the action's very good. I care about the result and the character and the story, because I'm going to be watching every second of this intently of, can't lose again. He cannot lose again. Is he going to lose? He's going to lose. He's going to lose. Oh my God, he's going to lose.
He can.
He can. Jon Moxley has told such a great story. And he's got such a great character that I've turned into La Greca. But no, this is just a joy. This is just a gift of like, bloody hell, Jon Moxley's done it. He has kind of saved my investment in AEW for a lot of this year.
Yeah, the match is like an absolute textbook wrestling school format, isn't it? Like, loads of shine, heat, commercial break, heat, comeback, finish.
Yeah.
That it does not in any way need to deviate from that. Moxley's coming at this still as the heel. He's only beginning the story of his exit from the Death Riders. Mascara Dorada's the underdog, but has a bunch of cool stuff that you can use on him. A moment where he can get the fans on side before getting cut down with something.
Yeah.
If anything, the more rote this is, the better, because that's most likely to pull you into the finish.
Yeah.
That's going to be the bit that, like, well, all right, now I know the comeback's coming, but is the comeback going to be successful? Or does Moxley just actually finish him for good? Does he get Marina to do something to cheat to help him or whatever? Does she look like she's going to offer the cheat, and then he, for the first time, says, no, I got this, don't worry.
Yeah.
And then Dorada rolls him up, and he's like, you can't even do that properly anymore. You've lost it, mate.
I think Moxley's going to lose.
I can't make my mind up on it.
I think they're going to set the tone with it.
Yeah. But then I suppose, a bit like what we said, isn't it? They could do that with Knight and Allen in like less storyline driven circumstances.
Yeah.
It would be a remarkable result, but it wouldn't be as big for the story. Yeah, I don't know, but it's good. It's really good.
It's good stuff.
I think Moxley wins because I think he puts a couple, maybe 2 or 3 together.
Yeah.
I
like the idea of him losing and then he beats Claudio and it's like, that's not what we want. I'm still going to turn on him.
It's hard with not knowing what's next, isn't it?
Yeah, but I like that.
But that's good drama. Yeah, I agree.
I like that. The last thing we need to preview, and it's just going to be a bit of a brag promo, and they're going to set the table for what's happening at World's End. But it's pretty big news. The Ops are going to celebrate new AEW World Champion Samoa Joe. Basically, they're going to cut a promo, maybe Swerve and/or Hangman interrupt, playing off the events of Full Gear. Hamflett, I've talked a lot about Full Gear and overlong AEW pay-per-views enough on these podcasts and social media over the last week. So over to you. Broad thoughts on the big title switch and Full Gear. If people missed the Full Gear review and you want mine reiterated, mine was basically kind of an indictment that they're giving it to Joe. I think he could have been built better. I think he was just okay ultimately when he was put in the same slot last year. I was unmoved, but at the same time, Hangman wasn't an amazing champion. He's almost too good at the chase for his own good. I like that they did a bold move. AEW doesn't do enough of that. I basically was a bit like, let's see where this goes.
Almost entirely agree.
Yeah.
Like, elements of it really made me laugh. It's rare case that you're at a position where, for this experiment, you've got to go to Samoa Joe. But a proper feeling. You said indictment. I'd use that word. For like really a number of big swings that AEW needed to take with the people they've had to take them with, because put other people in the spot and try that.
Him
and
getting
then you might get 2 out of them.
Him getting a second reign before Fletcher got 1 and Darby got 1. It's like, what are we doing
in
here?
this specific story, if you take the big swing with Hobbs,
yeah,
and it's to exist to transition it to somebody else, which a lot of people are speculating with Joe, then you potentially get 2 people over because you get Hobbs over while you're getting the new person or while you're completing the story with a babyface or whatever. But they will have believed that Hobbs can't be the guy because he's a guy in Joe's stable, and it's always the front of the stable that does that thing. And it's like, well, Hangman and Hobbs had this killer match, and Joe and Hangman are 2 pretty boring ones.
Yeah.
So that's what we're all thinking. Like, if you're booking with all of your chest and your heart rather than your head, you're going with someone like a Hobbs all day here.
Yeah.
And that's just one example of a guy. Like, Fletcher's another one if he's in a slightly different spot on the card. Yeah, you know what? No, I'm going to go in a little bit harder here. I think Joe's the world champion is kind of an embarrassment, actually. Like, I thought putting him as the number 1 contender was kind of an embarrassment too. And yet at the same time, because he's Samoa Joe, there is an element where it's fine. It is like, he's this sort of, what's he got going from Samoa Joe? I've always put him over for like how great he is when you're live and in the building. He does have that, it's that word, isn't it? But he does have that aura in person.
He has that.
Goes a long way. But I don't think it's...
He has that in 2025. He has almost an unrivaled ability to say something in 10 seconds, and I go, Jesus Christ, this guy rules.
Yeah.
And then that kind of evaporates whenever he's in the ring for me.
It hasn't traveled through the screen for me in about 15 years. Genuinely.
Yeah.
Like through the telly.
I think it helps that I was never a TNA guy.
Well, I had that at least. You know, I think for a lot of people it'll be Ring of Honor going back even further, but then that put a much deeper love for him in their hearts as well.
Yeah.
So I think they wave away a lot. I think there's a Roddy Strong element with Samoa Joe.
Oh, yeah, I know.
A lot of people tell lies. So I think it's... I said it when he was announced as Hangman's biggest challenger of late. I thought it was kind of a pathetic go-to, and now they've actually gone all the way and put the belt on him. If you say why we used to mock Let It Play Out when it was the kind of the go-to for people trying to defend Vince McMahon of all people's booking, Let It Play Out. Why we would defend that is, why we would attack that line is because, well, why? Not least because we're paid to talk about it right now, but as fans, what? So we're not allowed to analyse it until... Can you give me the date when I'm permitted to analyse if this was a good decision or not?
Yeah.
Because apparently we've got to let everything play out. That was the criticism then. So I don't want to just say let it play out now, but I kind of need to know really quickly that it's in service of something, because otherwise why not somebody more interesting?
Yeah.
Or why not leave it with Hanger and see where that's going? Because at least... I agree. I think we've seen yet again that maybe Tony Khan and Hangman Page aren't great collaborators with Hangman on top. Maybe, I'll say this right, all brawl-out biases aside, Hangman Page seems a good egg, right? From the outside, a good egg. Is he sometimes too much of a good egg to not pop his head back in the room where the decisions are made and saying, can we get a bit more on me, please? I'm the world champion.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Shawn Michaels alienating everybody he works with or anything like that. I'm not saying CM Punk blowing the company up. I'm saying...
It's wild how, and I know our listeners come viewers are much better than this, but it's wild how you kind of have to heavily do a disclaimer for every point because people just willfully interpret something you say. Is I mean the opposite then? It's no.
And we're dealing with wrestlers who have that really... deeply embedded fan base as well. The parasocial element is such a big part of AEW.
I see you on WWE promos. No, dickhead.
But when the booking's laid out right, and let's say Hangman is as the world champion, he should be a Tony Khan's right hand as a world champion, right? And they're sitting down together, and he's like, right, we're going to do a Fletcher thing, and you're going to win. And the project there is, can you really help elevate Fletcher with your authority and gravitas? Yeah. And that's your first thing done. Second thing, MJF, big drama, big story. We can't quite work out what we're doing with the case, but you're going to get, it's you two, and you've had your big match earlier in the year, so we kind of want to go back to that. But it's not the story. That's going to come with Samoa Joe, right? And that'd be the first point where I'm put my hand up. It's like, yeah, I want to can we do something else? But either way, he goes, all right, yeah, fine. And then he goes home for the night. And then he arrives at Wednesday for TV, and he sees what's on the docket. And of those 3 challenges over this, what we talking, 3 months, 4 months? 4 months. July he won it, didn't he?
August,
October, November. Yeah. 4 months. 3 challenges, 4 months.
Which is long enough for a title reign for me.
Yeah.
More than long enough.
Yeah, it's fine. The length of it, I've not got really any concern over. It's the quality of the stuff you're doing. There has been a couple...
Good point to make in life.
There's been a couple of standout moments.
So...
But how many weeks has the Hangman Page program like not really been that big a deal?
Yeah, loads of them.
Loads of the weeks. Like the run. Let's look at the run, right? Because you could say, yeah, not bad in terms of the length, but what were the truly great moments? The Tony Schiavone thing divided people, but I enjoyed that bit.
I liked his first week a lot.
The first week, I'm the champion of the effing world. Really loved the promo where he told Kyle Fletcher, he kind of reminded him what the levels of the game were. I thought that was you didn't like that one.
It was all a bit like, I'm the best, not yet, kid.
So we're on two we can agree on. I didn't mind the quality of them, but I think I remember Moxley's performance more, the rematch in Chicago.
Yeah.
But Moxley, that was the first time.
Again, that was more
the ass show. John
But
Moxley.
A champion to a degree should be some guy who other characters play off.
I guess what
that Masawa Brett thing.
What I'm circling is we're not Lord in a great ring. We can't agree on 5 collectively moments that we would definitely hold up right.
And he had the ultimate platform and goodwill as well.
Yeah,
that should not
of
go
course.
overstated.
Like, that's on Tony Khan and AEW as a company. A little bit on our Page to get in the room and be like, come on, you put it on me. Like, let's go to work.
You put it on me. Come and get a piece of me.
Like, every time at the Cowboy style. I don't know. Like, and if he's not that way, more power to him for being a nice guy, by the way. But that's the sort of stuff that sometimes separates the world champions, doesn't it? Got to have a little bit of selfishness.
Aye. So I've read something that's blew my wig off, but it's for after we press record.
So yeah, like it did make me go, I'm quite interested in Dynamite. And then I forgot about Dynamite, and it was the Continental Classic that I was most excited to talk to you about.
Yeah.
I tell you what, the saddest thing for me, because the thing that should have really got me in the heart, because he looked, he's in the old flex skis, and he was bigger than Roman Reigns on Saturday, man. He was massive. Swerve's been eating his greens. I didn't get the tree feeling I was supposed to get when the two stood next to each other, and that shocked me, because I was higher on that than you. I believe that was integral to the rebuilding of AEW post everything, really. And I felt a bit like you've said about the Elite, and like I've said about when you see Roman and the Usos, I'm like,
I don't need it for a long
still
time.
Doing this. Can we get away from that?
Exact same thing on the Full Gear review.
Swerve got taken out by the Don Callis family, Okada. They're not remembering the stories they're in, because we're all supposed to like bend our for the law stuff or whatever. Yeah. It's like, no, that you got taken out by X.
I made the point, it doesn't help that there's so much else going on in AEW where it's like, oh, we're still doing this. It's just like, I get why they would do it, but I don't need it at all.
I don't think it was the timing for it. Also, and I want to apologize if there's like a lot of collision related stuff or I've been missing YouTube promos or something.
This is your job.
Fair cop, right? The friggin'
I watch SmackDown on Wednesdays.
So. The goobers coming out at the end.
The Ops Dojo.
Oh my God.
That's so lame.
Lost.
It's like the NWO roadies.
Oh man, it was so lame. Oh, here they are. All the stars are here. Like,
so when do these happen?
Hooks. And he was obviously instructed to do it, but Hook's smirk and turn that was expected to get this. And it's like, well, there's an embarrassment, because kind of nobody gives a toss about that face as well.
My God.
And now we've got you know what Joe needs to do tonight? Yeah, I took my licks. Because Hook, took a fall, didn't he, to get Joe the second. Well, Joe got a shot because Hook was on Hangman's team and lost. So are we saying that Hook took a dive to get Joe his second match?
Maybe they said a little main.
Because the plan was for Joe to win the first time, and then when he didn't. He's got to do a bit of an Aces and Eights explainer here, which is rare for AEW. The one benefit, the one shining light from all of this is it the route back for Eddie Kingston? And can we give them the benefit of the doubt? Is this the answer to all our prayers and complaints? Because by lifting Hook into this thing, suddenly Kingston is a wronged man with a
Kingston
vendetta.
versus Joe could be incredible.
That satisfies. That is, remember when we used to talk about like Vince McMahon, and he's like, well, Braun Strowman's everybody's cup of tea. This can't fail. Is Eddie Kingston, Samoa Joe, the one unifying force amongst the AEW fan base?
And everyone's like, yeah, I'll bet that.
Yeah.
I'd love a bit of that.
I can't imagine it, but like that might be the one. What are you putting him a Hook for? Hook's turned. That's why you were putting him a Hook.
Yeah.
Eddie Kingston can finally be angry for the first time since he's returned.
Yeah.
He's been wrong.
I would still consider them wasted months, but, you know.
Yeah, me too, buddy. We're effing. It's 2025, and Samoa Joe is the heavyweight champion of the world. What the hell?
Like, the business in the toilet when you put the belt on Samoa Joe. Anyway, that's obviously a joke. Calm down.
That guy's going back to the Fed right there.
Calm down.
Just
Ease up.
Is there a lot of that? That's what I'm not missing about the old X-Ski. Is there a lot of...
People have trying to will us into existence. More in hope than expectation.
What about the Hangman response? Is it like, was there backlash? Was there...
Usual piss babies started crying. You should have it for 4 years, not 4 months, man. Tony Khan. There was like one tweet where it's like a picture or a gif or whatever of Hangman Page opening the briefcase. AEW fans cared everything about this moment. Tony Khan cared nothing. I'm fairly certain he did.
Yeah, that's what he did.
Fairly certain he's just headlined the biggest pay-per-view of the year. Come on. Honestly, Hangman Page and TJ fans are in my crosshairs now.
You know, the X.
You know, they got knocked out of the tournament. They deserve better. They're not over. They need to work getting harder to get over.
Shout out to our friend and colleague, Simon Miller, who's generated some traction with those headset things.
Yeah, good stuff.
Good crack then. Imagine the shoot one of them, Hangman's in the ring in tears, opening the briefcase. We're watching and fighting back the tears ourselves. Cut to Tony Khan. Boring!
Right down, let's get Joe off this bitch in 4 months.
Probably get myself away.
Unbelievable. Very quickly, because this preview is going to go out late enough as it is. Mm-hmm. Okay. In 5 words, describe Full Gear as a pay-per-view outside of the Joe title switch. Long.
AEW is boring. Come on.
Yeah. I said my leading line was the sad thing about these AEWs, while they peak at excellent, of course they do. I could have reviewed that show in 5 words and people listening would have thought, all right, okay, well, I know what he means. It was an AEW pay-per-view. It was too long. Certain matches went too long. Certain matches that would have generated a big reaction on a more disciplined, shorter, better sequenced, better paced show would have got an actual reaction, unlike Stat versus Money, which got nothing. But anyway, let's end on a happier note. It's C2 season, baby. Let us know in the comments below if you're on YouTube or at WhatCulture WWE on X whether you're Gold League, Leaguer with the Blue League. Let us know. Let us know.
More like Poo League.
Yeah, exactly. On X at WhatCulture WWE. You can't follow Hamflett on there. He did the right thing and buggered off the platform. But you can indeed follow him on Cameo at
Michael Hamflett.
You can follow me on X at Sidgwick. A little bit of a disrupted schedule because I have to be off tomorrow. I've got some bloody boring home admin to do. Therefore, all going well, we will be back on Friday with the review of AEW Dynamite Night 1 of the C2, and then the self-indulgent SmackDown crap they do will also be on the feeds then.
Survivor Series come SmackDown preview.
Indeed.
4 games.
Worst of both worlds, realistically. Wrestle Culture will be back, so stick around for the rest of the week for that. Thank you very much to Hamflett for joining me today. Thank you very much for listening. Do not forget to subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling for daily wrestling podcasts. Maybe not Thursday. It's not daily, is it, Will Paul? Maybe change your intro up. Thank you very much for joining us today, and we will see you soon.